Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the DC Direct Super Friends Superman and Lex Luthor Deluxe Action Figure Set. An older 2-pack released from the good folks at DC Direct. This 2-pack is depicting the two iconic leaders of the classic Super Friends. On the side, we've got Superman, leader of the Super Friends. On the right side, Lex Luthor, leader of the Legion of Doom. Speaking of Legion of Doom, you may or may not see it, but inside that packaging, you get little miniatures. In this case, you get a miniature of the Legion of Doom. Is it the Hall of Doom, or I think it was just the Legion of Doom. Can't wait to get that opened up. On the side of the package, there's a picture of Superman, the Man of Steel. On the other side, Lex Luthor, evil criminal mastermind. Lex Luthor, you monster. And on the back, Superman and Lex Luthor Deluxe Action Figure Set. Set includes a chunk of green Kryptonite, extra pair of hands for Superman, Luthor's Dream Machine Gun, and a miniature model of the villain's Hall of Doom. I was right. I said Hall of Doom. Each figure comes with a Super Friends base. As for the read-up, it says Superman from the doomed planet Krypton was rocketed to Earth, where he gained powers beyond those of mortal men. The future Man of Steel made an enemy of the brilliant Lex Luthor, who blamed him for the failure of an important experiment and permanent loss of his hair. Now hero and villain are once again locked in combat. Down below, the other figures you can collect for the first time, action figures based on the DC greatest superheroes as they appeared in the legendary animated TV series. Lots of going on down here in the way of read-ups. Let me zoom my camera in, just bear with me here. Other ones you can get, we have the Super Friends Wonder Woman and Cheetah set. We have the Green Lantern and Sinestro, Aquaman and Black Manta, Superman and Batman, and Scarecrow, and finally Robin and the Riddler. Fantastic sets all around. What I am going to do is take a break, as I always do. I'm going to get this opened up. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at not only Superman, but also Lex Luthor. Excited? I hope so. Stay tuned. Both Superman and Lex Luthor include Super Friend display bases. These are incredible display bases. They have a nice black sheen to them. You can actually see that there are 4 peg holes on either side. I don't know why we are so specific as to where exactly we want to put the one peg that comes included with each stand, but you have the options. It is your choice as to which side, which hole you would like to use, but I do like options. I really like these display bases. And I suppose if you wanted to, you could really utilize these display bases as well. Even though we do technically have superpowers display bases for our DC superheroes or DC Universe figures, you could ultimately use these as well if you really want to jazz up those figures. Because, I mean, after all, we did get a Super Friends inspired Lex Luthor that was part of the Gotham City 5-pack. So, I mean, really, he could utilize this display base also. And you get 2 of them. Other accessories that you get: secretly staged at the Hall of Doom. Okay, the original guy does a lot better. You actually get yourself a really neat miniature of, yes, the Hall of Doom. I love the detail on it. The one thing that always spoiled it for me, excuse me, was the fact that generally when you looked at the Hall of Doom, it was always the one side of it. It always looked like a really cool cybernetic robotic skull. I always thought that was really neat. Then unfortunately when it flew, you would see that it had multiple sides and it just kind of took away from it. Didn't really feel like much of a skull anymore. But a really neat little miniature. I have to find a place to put this, whether it be by my desk. I always say by my desk. You guys probably think my desk is just adorned with tons and tons of little trinkets here and there. That's actually not the case, but certainly Spot would find a place for something like this. This is really neat. Other accessories that you get is a chunk of Kryptonite. Now, we have gotten chunks of Kryptonite in the past, nothing spectacular. However, I gotta say, really impressed with this particular piece. I don't know why, maybe it's the shape of it. It looks a little more rock-like than some of the other things we've gotten in the past. And I really like the coloring. That's a decent looking Kryptonite. I think it also helps the fact that on the top it's kind of see-through, kind of opaque, but on the underside it's actually painted. So you could have it either or, but I think the paintedness only adds to the glistening depth to this rock. So dig in it quite a bit. And lastly, you get the Dream Machine. I think by today's standards, this Dream Machine would look a little bulky, not very streamlined. I think by today's standards, Lex Luthor would probably be carrying around, it probably would just be like an app for his iPhone. He's like, oh, I must destroy the Super Friends using my Dream Machine. Where is it? Oh, I have it as an app on my iPhone. I just bought it the other day. It was 99 cents. I don't think I'll get the update, but 99 cents, I couldn't go wrong. But back in the day, this was the way that masterminds and criminals alike would have their weapons or devices or gadgets. It would be these big, garish, big things, probably big antennas, something indicating to the heroes the villains have something in their hands that you want to destroy. Small, easy to conceal, wouldn't be a problem. Something like this, it's totally asking to be destroyed. And likely that will be what happens at the hands of the Man of Steel. Moving along to the actual figures that came with this set. I'm just going to move these other trinkets out of the way. Don't worry, they're not being forgotten. I'm just moving them over to the side. Let's first have a look at Lex Luthor. And he looks really neat. Now, we haven't really gotten a lot of Lex Luthors, not certainly in the Superpowers outfit. I shouldn't say Superpowers, the Super Friends outfit. It's basic green and purple. He's got this really nice high collar going on there and adorned with batteries. If he's ever short on double A's, he is fully packed, as he has 4 on his chest. He's got another 4 on his legs. Need a double A? Got a double A. That's actually Luthor's tagline. Need a double A? Got a double A. He's also apparently got upside down. It's either trumpets or he's got water faucets coming from his legs. I guess those are rocket boots. I don't remember. But some really nice vibrant paint. I mean, these are relatively old figures, and you can see that the paint is very vibrant. One thing that I always have to commend DC Direct for, their figures are always really done well in the way of paint and general color scheme. We got the nice, I want to say kind of a nice dark green, and then we got this pinkish purple in the boots, and then also in the top, and then this really nice black outlining around the belt, and especially on the legs. It really pops quite a bit. On a scale level, Luthor definitely would stand out amongst if you had the DC Universe figures all out on display. He would look out of place if you were to try to put him with it. I mean, we do have the other one that we did get with the Gotham 5-pack, DC Universe figures, but then again, I mean, this one really iconically, I think this iconically captures the idea of Lex Luthor. Big old bald head, big old black eyebrows. That personifies to me Lex Luthor. And I love this collar. This collar only adds to how cool he looks. It's a dense plastic, so it's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna warp or anything like that. It actually barely moves, so I don't think you're gonna have a problem there. But you have to admit that that is a fantastic looking face. Now he has one peg hole on his foot. So technically, I suppose technically in Luthor's case here, Spot did put the peg hole on the wrong side. I really should have taken this peg hole out, take the peg out of the hole, which I probably won't be able to do now. But I probably would have it obviously on the other side so you can have Luthor displayed perfectly on his display base. In the way of his articulation, Lex Luthor has only a swivel, and it actually swivels at the neck rather than at the head. His arms are on a pin and socket, so they rotate up, back and forth. He has a bend in the elbow. It doesn't look like, does he rotate actually in the hand? No, it looks like he does not. He does not. No rotation in the waist either. His legs go forward and back, and he has a single bend in the knee. That's pretty much all you're going to get. But a figure like this, you're likely getting more for the detailing and the overall effect of the figure. There he is with his dream machine. You have it more so for the effect of how he looks rather than the fact that he is a super articulated figure. Gotta love Lex Luthor here. I think I'm going to give him a very solid 8.5. Moving along, and unfortunately I really botched it with these pegs. I laughed it off. You notice I laughed it off saying, oh, come on, we don't need that many peg holes. And sure enough, what ended up happening? Well, Superman fell over for starters, but what ended up happening? Spot totally put it on the wrong side. Superman, on the other hand, yes, it looks like his peg hole is on the other side as well. Why do we have a peg hole here then? Unless we want to turn it around. But who's going to want to put the figure standing that way when you have this really cool title going this way? Spot's going to have to remember this when he does the next series of reviews. What? There's more of them? Yes, there is more of them. I'm going to have to definitely remember to put it on the left side. In the meantime, we'll just put this aside. Having a look at Superman. Not likely a Superman that everyone is going to enjoy. But for those who grew up with the Super Friends, Challenge of the Super Friends. Maybe by Challenge of the Super Friends he started looking a little bit different, but he's a much more happier, delightful little Superman figure than probably some of the other things that we would have gotten now. His shield, his Superman S, is actually it's sculpted into his chest. It's not just a painted over logo. Does he have the Superman S on the back? Yes, he does. Also sculpted as well. So that's a nice effect. I really actually like his cape too. I'm not quite sure what they're doing here. It looks like this was a separate piece that was attached to the collar piece. So as opposed to it being one solid piece as it normally is, it's actually two pieces. His color is similar to Luthor, but I guess on the other end of the scale. His coloring is vibrant. It's very vibrant as it was, again with the Luthor. But we got this nice bright yellow, gold for the belt buckle, and then we got this nice almost like a rich pastel blue for the blue uniform outfit. And then, of course, he's got the Superman red going in there as well. Great Scott. Superman is a little loose in the knees, unfortunately. But overall, he does look very nice. Now, he does have alternate hands, to which I can try to take one hand out. There's a little peg there. I'm always really iffy. Whoa! I just dropped the hand. It's all right. Just dropped the hand. Superman is handless for a second, but he does also come with alternate hands. If Spot can reach around, my dexterity is not. There we go. Superman also has closed hands. That would be ideal if Superman wants to fly, but unfortunately, as I peg this into Superman's arm, I mean, he could be giving you a shake. Hello, Superman. Nice to meet you. I'm here to save the day. Hello, Superman. I'm running for mayor. Nice to meet you. You have a baby to kiss? Absolutely. I don't know. I kind of prefer the closed fist myself, but there are options. You could kind of pretend he's flying, even though technically he's going to be standing on his display base, but I think overall I'm really, really impressed with this set. I love Superman. I mean, I think everybody and their uncle knows that by now. Spot! He loves Superman! Yes, I know. I watch his reviews too. The face is iconic. You may or may not like this design of Superman, as he is much more lighthearted, much more fun. He's the kind of guy that would go to your kids' birthday parties. He'd have a slice of cake before he flew off to go help a flooding bridge or, save small villagers or something like that. But for the most part, I really like the figure. It's iconic. It represents a part of my childhood. And Superman, I'm totally going to give an 8.5 to. As a whole, this set is fantastic. It's a little older of a set too, so I mean, easy to find. Likely, your chances now are on eBay. And as far as I know, actually, the individual Super Friends were also released as singular carded figures as well. They may or may not have been the exact same figure. There might have been some retooling, but I'm pretty sure they're the exact same figure. So you have a couple of options. I personally would say go try to find the 2-pack where you have Luthor and Superman, or really as a whole, try to find the sets that have the Super Friends and their villain counterparts. And then, you know, you can get the extra accessories like the Hall of Doom and, you know, all the other things as well. Plus you have really cool display bases. This as a whole is a fantastic set. It's been tucked away in my storage for a while. I finally had a chance to pull these out. I'm very happy that I was able to review them for you. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the DC Direct Super Friends. We're having a look at the villain Lex Luthor and the Man of Steel, Superman. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, I'll see you guys next time. Meanwhile, in the Hall of Doom.